Hello everyone, this tutorial will cover recording vocals, reducing noise, and editing vocals in Audacity. First, open up Audacity, which you downloaded earlier. Once open, you will notice that there are several areas of the interface. The first is at the top left-hand corner of the window. This is your control panel. It includes pause, play, stop, rewind, fast forward, and really the all-important record button, that red dot. To begin recording, you must first locate the input options, which is directly below the control panel. And that's this list of drop-down menus here. The one that is mostly important for you guys is the recording source. And so that is right now Logitech USB headset because I have a USB mic. But for most of you, it's going to be the built-in microphone in your computer. The second thing for you to notice is that it's going to be recording in mono, not in stereo. And that's okay because your vocals should always be the dominant sound. So having a mono is not a huge problem. If for some reason you need to have directional, come see me in class and we will figure out the necessary mechanics. But for most of you, mono is perfectly fine. And finally, you're going to have your output. My suggestion here is to have it be a headset or your built-in audio. And if you're doing a built-in audio, you're going to want to have headphones plugged in because once you start editing, playing back, it becomes a craziness when it comes to recording. So having your audio and your mic separate is important. Okay. Make sure that you have your script printed out for you to read from, that you are in a quiet place, and that all Fancast voices are ready. Then hit record and let the system record the ambient sound in the room for roughly 10 to 30 seconds before starting your Fancast script read-through. I would suggest that you keep reading even if you have made a mistake, but mark the rough time code on your script as you go. You can find the time code at the bottom of the player. You'll never have a perfect read-through, and you can edit out your mistakes later. Once you've completed a read-through or Fancast discussion, click the stop button in the player. Then save your recording as a project. Make sure you name your project appropriately and save the file in a location that you will be able to find again. Now, scroll back to the beginning of your Fancast recording to the room silence that you recorded before starting the Fancast script. You may need to use the zoom tool at the top right to change the recording timeline size. And the scroll bottom at the bottom. Okay. You'll notice in our ambient sound section here that there's a lot of squiggles. That's noise that's in the room. So we're going to want to remove that noise. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my cursor tool, which you can find just to the right of the record button, and I'm going to select all of that dead air that has noise in it, right up until where my voice starts. Then I'm going to go to Effect, Noise Reduction, and in step 1, click the Get Noise Profile button. And what this does is it says, okay, this is unwanted sound. Now we're going to click anywhere else in the timeline to deselect that section, and we're going to use our keyboard commands, either Control A if you're on a PC or Command A if you're on a Mac, to select all of your timeline. Alternatively, if you're not into keyboard shortcuts, you can go to Edit, Select, and Select All. Once you have the entirety of your timeline selected, we're going to go back up to Effect, back to Noise Reduction, and then we're going to go down to step 2. You'll notice that there are 4 options here. noise reduction, sensitivity, frequency smoothing bands, and noise. Generally speaking, you can leave the defaults here, which are 12, 6, 3, and reduce, and hit OK. And you'll notice that it scrubs out all of that extra fuzziness at the beginning of my line and throughout to make a truly smooth, dead silence here. Now that you've reduced the noise as best as you are able, it's time to edit the vocals. Remember your recording script with the notes of where you screwed up? We can use the time codes to locate and remove any flubs. Scroll to or listen through to your first edit location. So I found my first location, and I'm going to use my cursor tool to click in the timeline and select the part that I want to remove. Now, if you have one and only one flub that you need to remove, you can go ahead and click delete on your keyboard, and it will remove that section and connect up your two pieces of timeline. However, most of us, myself included, make more than one mistake in a recording. So instead of doing a delete, I'm going to do a file, edit, remove special, split delete. And what this does is it creates a gap between the two pieces of audio. And the reason why we would do that is that it keeps the time codes that you noted intact. Because if we removed this section and moved it, everything would be changed by that amount of time. So in this case, it's only a second off, but sometimes it's going to be 2 or 5 or 15, whatever it is. And it will truly screw up all those time code notations. So instead of screwing up your time notations, we're going to leave the gaps. So then we're going to use our scroll button or our scroll bar down at the bottom and find our next mistake. Okay. This is the section that I want to remove. Go ahead and select it. And again, we're going to go to Edit, Remove Special, Split Delete. Once you've gone through and removed all of your flubs, you can scroll to the end of your timeline and select your exit out silence, which you don't need anymore, and go ahead and you can hit delete on your keyboard and remove that. We're going to then scroll all the way back to the beginning and do the same thing with your ambient noise silence. Now we have all these gaps in your timeline, and we need to smush them together to have it be a continuous line of sound. And we have a tool for that. So up in the top by your cursor, there is this double arrowed icon. It's for your time shift tool. We're going to go ahead and click that, and we're going to select the audio clip to the right of the first one, and we're going to click and drag until it meets its predecessor, and you'll get this big yellow line down the frame, and that's your visual clue that they are now matched up, and you can go ahead and release. And we're going to scroll back over again and do that with our next piece, so on and so forth until all of your clips have matched up. At this point, you can go ahead and save your project one more time, and you've cleaned up your audio, reduced noise, and you're ready to move on to the third and final stage of your audio project.